everybody. Elena Mosaner here, and this is Life Over Matter podcast. And I'm here today with a special guest, Tessa Maddison. Do I say your name correctly? Madison, right?
Yeah, that's great. Yep.
Perfect. And Tessa is a yogi. She's a mom. She's a life seeker, and she is a change management specialist. And I have known Tessa for about maybe 7 years. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Welcome from Canada.
How are you today?
I'm doing awesome today, actually. Yeah, it's so many things have happened in the last year, so it's so exciting that things are improving, and the summer here in Canada, so that's always wonderful.
That's great. I wanted to talk to you because you and I met about 7 years ago at Sivananda Retreat in the Bahamas. And then we've connected again. We had good conversations. One thing I've noticed that we had some common, interests and thoughts about empowerment, about improvement, about healing and working on yourself, and also some women issues. So that's why I wanted to connect to you and talk a little bit about some things. You and I, when we have met, that was in Sivananda. What you took a trip, just was it like a vacation? Because for me it was a short vacation to just heal and find myself and really enjoy the Bahamas. What was it like for you then?
Well, she was a special gift to myself. It was for my 50th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to give myself a special treat. I am a qualified Sivananda yoga teacher, and I had been to the ashram here in Canada, and I'd heard lots of things about the one in the Bahamas, and I said, oh, that would be nice. So for me, going and learning some more teaching, more to be around with other yogis, to be in that environment is a real treat for me. So that's why I decided to give myself that treat.
That was nice. What would you say you took away from that trip for yourself?
One of the things that I've discovered a lot about myself as I've got older is that although I'm a very social person and I love people, I love reflection time and I like alone time. And as you know, I'm a mom. I have 2 children, and I was married for a very long time. And interestingly enough, I talked to you about being like, I call myself the sandwich moms. Is that I got married, I followed my partner's career, I had children, but before that, in my 20s, I backpacked all over the world. I traveled extensively. I had done some amazing things. And then I just became a mom. And so I've really been working on an evolution piece in the last 15 years of myself, of reconnecting with who I am as a person, what speaks to me, what I need to develop. And I think it happens so much to women is that we nurture and take care of our families, and we lose maybe the essence of who we are. So I found that a lot with some women my age, that if you reflect and take that time, it's amazing how you reconnect to who I am as a person. And so that trip was another one of my trips that I had started taking to reconnect with who I was as a person. And I have to say that when I had small children, I hadn't been on a holiday or been away or even been with girlfriends for 15 years. I had just done stuff with the family. And when I made that conscious choice, no, I actually need to go and do something for myself. And I need to have that time by myself. You have to plan and you have to organize and you have to, do it step by step. So I was able to, do a weekend by myself on a course, and then a week, and then I did 2 weeks. And so I've built up over the years.
Yeah, that was not easy. How long did you stay at the Shivananda, and how old were your kids then?
So that was later on. So when you met me, I'd already been successfully doing that. So it was just a week. But actually, my biggest time away from them, I've done it twice now. I've been away from my children for a month. The month when I went and did my yoga training, that was a huge thing, because also you know, not connecting with them on a on a daily basis. My kids were a little older, so just starting high school and finishing middle school. But it's still a long time for the main parent of a child to be away for.
Yeah. So they were like in their teens, right? Already.
So sort of 12 and 14,
Yeah.
that kind of age. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So for a whole month you were away from them.
Well, just over actually. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing, because I cannot imagine it right now at this stage, obviously, because see, you said you've traveled when you were young in your 20s, then you got married, then you followed your partner's career, and then you were a mom, right? You full time, you were not pursuing anything for yourself, right? For many
Well,
years.
I was always working, but I
Yeah.
wasn't working for my career. I basically did work. I've always worked wherever I have. My ex husband was military, so we moved regularly. So that's why I call myself a change agent specialist, because I've had to change and adapt
Mhm.
globally. And I do mean that, because we've moved countries, we've moved different places and all over the world. But I had done that before.
Mm.
I met him. I've moved more than 20 times in my life.
Mhm.
And as I told you, I'm about to move again next month. So
Yes, but you're still going to be in Canada, Robert, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like you were still kind of doing what you were really enjoying in your 20s, the moving and traveling. And you were traveling, although you were traveling sort of along with your husband, kind of following him on his journey, right?
Well, yeah. So before I got married, I traveled. Usually, I had a very good girlfriend that I'm still in touch with. We were friends from 18. She's German. Actually, I worked at Walt Disney World in Florida, believe it or not. I'm from the UK originally, but
Yes.
I got a job in Disney and I met her there when we were 18. And she went back to Germany. I went back to the UK. And then every summer we would backpack. We went backpacking in different places of the world.
Mm.
And I did that right through until I got married. And then with my partner, we would travel, but we never did the same kind of adventure traveling. My partner wasn't that kind of person.
Mhm.
But so when I decided later on, you know, that I needed to,
Yeah.
that traveling was part of who I am, and exploring, I really love to explore
Mhm.
off the beaten track. Um, yeah, I started traveling. I went on a couple of trips with some, again, ladies, a couple of ladies that I could arm twist, and
Yeah. Yeah.
we could find calendars that would match up. And then I fell in love with India. I had not been to India in my 20s. I fell in love with my India in my 40s. And I couldn't find anybody who would travel with me. I
Mm.
couldn't find somebody whose calendar would match up or they were interested or anything. So I said, why am I waiting? Why don't I just do it myself? Like, I'm
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
experienced traveler, you know?
So that was one
So,
of the first travels that you started doing after you
uh,
decided to spend time,
yeah.
for
Then
yourself.
I started doing solo traveling, which is a totally different experience.
Oh yeah, and I
And
think you kind of feel comfortable traveling solo when you've settled things like having family and children. You really feel like you want to open up to the world in a different way. Like the way I feel now, I have a 9 month old and a 3 year old. I noticed how it's not like I'm hungry for communication, but I do feel this like want. I'm like, I want to talk to people. I want to meet people, and this is one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast, because I can't really meet, hang out with my friends, have lunch, and in a sense Zoom made it possible to connect with someone like you who's in Canada, or somebody who's in Europe. And to me, this is a way to have my social life as well. And have meaningful conversations that are inspiring for others, even though, I can't really travel right now, so I can understand what you're talking about. And
Yeah, I think it's so technology is so wonderful. It has opened that avenue for us and having these connections, and you and like us talking today, but even before, the telephone, but doing the visuals. I mean, it's phenomenal. All my family is overseas, so I talk with them regularly like this. But I come from a family of adventurers. Actually, my grandparents traveled extensively. So I would definitely say it's in my DNA actually to travel. But the biggest thing is what travel brings to you. Like for
Mhm,
me, it has given me so much more like openness and viewpoint on humanity, how we're all connected.
mhm,
Uh, it is always a thrill to connect with people from different places in the world. You don't have to speak the same languages. It's amazing how you can connect with people for all different ways. But going off the beaten track, like, and finding a lovely small village, and sitting and having a chai or a coffee and
just
what
being, right? And
just being.
yeah, and that's why
Yeah.
I was attracted to talking to you at Shivananda. There were so many people there, as you remember, and we had our little table, people kind of connecting, and I was like, this woman she's so like full of joy. She's so bright, like you were like beaming with light, and you were just like you had a big smile on your face, and you're just like enjoying, and you're so present. That was just so contagious about you.
Thank you. That's very sweet. Look, you made me well.
I
Um,
I wanted to ask you because I know many people out there, some women my age, a little younger, who are not married, want to be married, want to have children, but really, and I talked to some of them, having hard time thinking about marriage because they're afraid of the shackles of marriage, because they're afraid of the fact that they will not be able to travel, that they will not be able to go get their nails done or be spontaneous or have the social life they have. I can understand it because I had it, but I made a really strong decision that I wanted to have family, and I love it, and I'm
yeah.
finding ways to still have things that I can do for myself. What can you advise to women who are kind of on the edge, that's just not able to open up?
Yeah, that's actually that's a multifaceted question,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
because I can actually say that, I'm actually in a new relationship now, and I actually struggled with exactly that last year, of deciding, do I want a partner in my life? Do I want that love in my life? And, one of the biggest things that um, modern women, I've had the opportunity to have a wonderful education. I went to university. I've had lots of opportunities. I'm very, very lucky. But I think that today, as women, particularly in North America, we want it all. We wanted everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really see that with young people. They say certain things about the relationship. I think, oh my. uh, I realize it really doesn't matter what age you're at. So even if you're younger, or
Mm-hmm.
if you're older like me and we're starting again, you know,
Ah,
compromise is something that you have to do if you want a relationship with somebody. And
yeah.
you can't say me, I want. And if you choose to have a family, you're sort of diluting that too. But one of the things that I've really worked on to change from what I did the first time around, and actually I wrote notes on it too, is the self-love and self-care piece.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that the younger generation of women, are certainly my daughters. I have two daughters, and I've really tried to empower them. I think it's very important, equal rights, and a bit of a feminist, but is that they're not afraid to stand up for themselves and say no, or they have a voice. Where I traditionally, I felt I was educated not to do that so much, actually.
Well, it's very interesting. You're bringing up a really interesting theme, how, we empower our children to speak up. And this is something I personally had to learn, actually, had to learn in recent years in relationships, because as if, we have feminine, masculine. Masculine is very strong, and masculine can be a little scary. And at times, especially when it's just solid masculine, there's a generality of, okay, I don't want to bother, I don't want to say anything. I was like, I'll be silent. But that's something that I witnessed in myself around very strong masculine, and had to work out, Can you relate to this?
Yeah, totally. Actually, you really speak to me on this. I think we touched on this before, is the masculine energy. Like, I've really been working on my feminine energy. Look, I'm wearing pink. Woohoo! Yes, because I really wanted to establish myself. I wanted to be independent. I wanted to be strong. I mean, I've had people describe me as, aggressive as opposed to assertive, and, driven rather than, passionate or whatever, because I exuded a lot of confidence, but it was derived as masculine energy.
And would you say that is masculine, or is it strong feminine? Like, what is it? Or do you think it was coming from the inner masculine?
I think that I was trying to I was using masculine. I mean, I'm feminine, but I was using masculine tactics instead of using feminine tactics. And I think it's got a lot to do with role models.
What are the masculine tactics? Sorry to interrupt you. What are the masculine tactics in your opinion?
Well, all my role models of people that I worked with in different environments. I mean, I worked in an engineering firm. They were all men. All the managers were men. I was middle management. So all of the people that I was trying to emulate or to grow up with were all masculine people, right? So, and I have 3 brothers. I have a very strong masculine father. So, I didn't have a lot of female role models. And, just even the nuances of how to dress, like when I was working in London before, I mean, I'm going to age myself a bit here, the style of dress was a suit, even if it was a female suit, or a female skirt and jacket and blazer, and, it's still very masculine. Instead of, celebrating being a woman, it doesn't mean that you have to show everything, but just even that presentation, because it's the outside circle of everything is just one part. It's the inside circle is so important. Like what it is, your energy from inside is actually the more of the driver for you in life. And I don't think that many of us have connect with that these days. Like, we're all still sort of trying. We see these other women who are sort of models and all the rest of it, but
I feel like many of us are afraid of being feminine for various reasons. First, if you're in a very relaxed feminine, the idea may be coming to mind, if I'm in this relaxed feminine, it can be attractive to masculine, like if you're in a meeting with men, so you have to gather yourself up and not be attractive, because feminine, masculine, they kind of attract. So you have to like be unattractive in a sense and be this, I don't know, maybe cold or like analytical and just
No, see, I totally disagree. I think every woman should celebrate being a woman and being feminine, and be your best self. I think that's my biggest thing, is be your best self. Keep working on yourself. Keep looking at yourself, as opposed to trying to emulate something else. I'm not a man, I'm a woman. I have different qualities and different strengths. I can bring something to the table that other people can't. But we are afraid. I think we're trying right now. I think in business, women are trying really hard to stand up even further, but we have to find our own path. We don't need to just emulate the man and the masculinity in the business. I mean, I think that the other flip side that I've seen is that men can be very afraid of women who are like,
yeah.
I think we have to learn to work together, and we don't need to just say, okay, that was how they did it, that's how they were successful. No, we need to do it a different way. I mean, the prime minister of New Zealand is doing radical different things as a woman in that position. She has stood out and said different things that other women in that environment wouldn't just never do. And good for her.
And probably men wouldn't be able to do some of those things, right? Because she's working from the woman standpoint, right? So you're saying that women have something else, and that we don't have to be like men. Like, we're in a meeting with a man, we don't have to be like them. Whatever those qualities and tactics are, they are our feminine, womanly tactics. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
What would be the actual example of the masculine tactic and the feminine tactic? If you like just one.
Okay, well, the classic one.
Okay.
The classic one, very short. Women always will say, well, I'm abbreviating here, is how do you feel?
Mm-hmm.
When you manage people, like I do HR, I will ask people, how are you feeling? How's it going? And checking in about their actual well-being, as opposed to just, okay, right, here's the list of activities. How are you doing with your jobs?
Right, exactly. Right, because the feminine is about surrender, transcendence. It's about being here right now. It's like being relaxed and just to connect to someone and say, how do you feel? And not be afraid of that, right? There's a belief that, masculine is about conquer and feminine is about surrender. And I used to think that surrender is weak. I used to think that surrender is actually you lose control, you let everybody in, you have to be on guard.
It's actually harder
To surrender.
I think so.
Oh yeah, but
I mean, I've been working on that. That's a good word, because it's very powerful. Rather than just driving, which is what I was kind of always done. Right now, I am trying very hard to listen more, be in the moment more, check in with my feelings more. About so awareness is huge. More about awareness piece. And I totally agree with you. Surrender is tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just do a segue to yoga.
Yeah.
One of the poses that's such a simple pose and very good for people if you're sitting at a computer like me 8 hours or 9 hours a day, is a forward fold. You have your legs out straight, you just fold over, and your hamstrings, your lower back, everything gets tight. Mine do. I'm getting older, it's getting tighter. And I remember the teacher at Sivananda a long time ago. You have to hold it, keep holding it, and it's like, okay, got to go inside, got to breathe, got to relax, because nothing's going to release unless you surrender to the pose. And the people, you know, that hold it or push it, it's a masculine energy, you know,
control, like
it's control. It's I'm getting down there, I'm going for it. Doesn't work. It will only work if you surrender into the pose. It will only work if you actually let go. And
you relax your muscles in that sense.
Yeah.
When you surrender, just whatever it is, I relax my muscles. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just, this is how it is for me right now.
And if you do, it's just amazing, the results. Like if you can get past that.
Yeah.
And I really do think that that's one of the, like, yogi has so many life lessons. If you practice yoga with those kind of intentions and that kind of depth, it's a lot more than just doing, you know, touching your toes.
Yeah, I agree with you. And yoga, actually, there's an incorrect way of doing yoga, which is the trying every pose to be perfect, like I'm doing it right now, you know. And I personally have been learning to just like really breathe. And this is how my pose is, my posture. It doesn't have to be like this person or that person. This is where I am today, and I just let go and completely surrender to it.
Yeah, it's like so when I first started yoga many years ago, you know, I come from a sporty background. I have 3 brothers that did competitive swimming. I've always done sports. I've been always in sports teams and things like that. I first started yoga, and you know, exactly that. You be in the room and you see everyone, you're like, okay, I can do this. You know, and you can see that it is a masculine energy, you know. But if you can just focus inward, and relax, and just do the practice with yourself, it's your practice, just for you, doesn't matter. It's amazing.
It's not about competition, right? Yeah, this is so powerful because it's that amazing thing of presence, and women have capacity for it, you know.
Well, I think one of the things so I'll give you an example. Okay, my mom unfortunately has passed, but one of the things, you know, I'm a meditation teacher as well, as you know, and you know, I said to her, you know, come on, mom, let's do some meditation. She said, oh, I tried that once. You know, I tried that once. And I just lay there, and all I could think of was the shopping list. You know, my to-do list, darling. And you're thinking, yeah, I know. But you have to keep working at it. And I think that people have this sort of vision that you're just going to sit there and be zen. And it's just like, no, actually it takes work, effort, practice,
right,
every time, every day. And it's not the same every day. And you know, just like running a marathon, you can't just go run a marathon tomorrow. You have to go and train for it, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's the practice of awareness right here, right now, all of all the feelings and awareness.
So I wanted to talk to you about something that happened to me this week. I'm moving house, and you know, a lot of stress with moving a house, right? And I had a very stressful day, and my mind was all over the place, like all over the place. But I have this awareness now of knowing, okay, like this is not good. Like, go sit, go breathe, go for a walk. And that evening, I didn't sleep well that night. And the next day I get up and I do my meditation practice, and I said, no, I really need this today. Like, I need it. And I found a meditation practice. I sat there and did my meditation practice, and when I did my morning walk, and I went and listened to some music, and I did all of my routine things that I do. And it made me very observant, you know, when everything's good, when you're happy, when everything is working, when you're not sort of like got a gazillion things to do, having a practice or having, you know, things in place is easy to do. It's when things are tough, or when you're stressed, or when you haven't slept, and the trigger is when you need it more.
Exactly. That's why you're practicing it. That's why you're training the muscle. So
yeah, you're training the muscle.
I totally agree. So that in those moments you can truly implement that, and especially when you get triggered, when you're having this amygdala attack, when you have cortisol and adrenaline in your body, and you feel like either running away or fighting or responding or having a quick response or being mean, or and this is the moment that's just like, take a deep breath. It's okay. You don't have to say anything. Just take a deep breath. Just walk away. Just take a deep breath, and then you respond. And I think mindfulness and the regular meditation practice teaches you to do those things, because in those moments when it's hard to do it, your mind is so in control, and it's telling you, sometimes it can tell you, it's not going to work. This meditation is like breathing. No, I need to respond right now. So just you need to like, and
Yeah, and it's so true. And the other thing that's so important is to, if you start having that awareness piece, have your practice. So you're like you say, you're using the muscles, you're getting used to it, right? Then you have the awareness of when you get triggered, all right, and the moments. But the other thing I really would like to say is forgiveness, because I hear again and again other women talk about guilt. I'm actually not a guilt person. I have other triggers. I'm not a guilt person at all. But is that okay? So you ate chocolate today when you're really trying to lose weight. And forgive yourself and get back on the bandwagon the next day. You missed your meditation practice because you just forgot. Just get off the sort of beating up or giving yourself a hard time. I think women do that a lot. And you need to remember, consistent.
Perfect. They can't be perfect.
And then, every day is a new day. Every day is a new day. Start again, start again, start again.
And that's what makes it perfect. Just showing up every day, no matter if it was yesterday, if you missed your practice or you had the chocolate, and it's okay to have a chocolate every now and then. You can't have for the rest of your life have zero chocolate, right? It's okay.
Yeah, but I used to do like I have a certain amount of time that I like to allot myself to meditation, and I realize that some days I'm just too busy. I have to, like or I have a pressing meeting or something, and instead of skipping it, I will say, okay, I'll just do 10 minutes instead of my regular time, right? And so there's that piece as well, is being aware, adapt. If you can't do it, or you did something that wasn't really what you wanted to do, it doesn't matter. Start again. Start again.
Exactly. You know what, because I have become so busy with the kids, and I'm working. I have a babysitter helping me, which is wonderful, and my husband helping, which is amazing. And I also do a lot of things myself. There's very rarely a moment of just like relaxing, There's everything is very structured. But
so now I'm going to interrupt you there.
Yeah.
Because I'm older.
Please.
I was like that.
Really?
Completely like that. Because I'm a project manager, and I can manage like end to end. And I like it. But I've learned as I've got older that structure is not always good. That you actually need that space. That space
of nothingness.
Of nothingness.
Do you schedule that nothingness in your calendar? This is my time of nothingness. I schedule it from like
I actually would say no, but I know if I haven't had it. Like I guess I adapt. So, if my partner, like I love to go walking. So in the evening I'll go for a walk, and if my partner doesn't want to come or whatever, then, I'm not going to tell them. I'm going to go sit on a park bench and just chill.
Oh.
I know. Because I know it's for me.
Yeah.
Or, I am on my walk. I mean, I love nature, and it really feeds my soul, and it really makes me grounded. And so I'll be out on my walk, and I'll just have a epiphany of looking at the sky or the tree or something, just stand and take the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's so important that everything is not structured, and especially having children, because
Mm-hmm.
they need to learn nothing. We in North America, we love to structure everything, pack it in: swimming lessons, music lessons, ballet lessons.
Yeah.
I know I was raised that way. I raise my children a lot that way too, but I do know that having the nothing time, so that they learn, go out, play, call someone, write, do something else. They need to learn that. You need to learn that. Everyone needs to learn that.
We usually have our weekends, obviously, for this kind of sort of nothingness, but we'll plan, we're gonna go there, we're gonna go to the fountain, we're gonna go to the beach, we're gonna go have dinner, like, but it's a lot more relaxed. But what I'm trying to do is, even when it is really busy, and let's say I didn't have the time to meditate the way I used to, I do this. I was literally like, I made oatmeal for my daughter, and it was hot, and I'm blowing at it like to make it cool, right? To cool off a little bit. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it like meditation, like deep breath and really relaxing myself all the way in and out, not just but like when I'm doing it more mindfully. That's just to relax myself. Or if I'm singing a song to her at night, I try to sing a song, and I do it sometimes. I do it repetitive, like I have one verse, I'm just repeating it over and over. Especially for Adelina, I would do it for 20 minutes, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I love that. I did that. I love that.
We did it at Shivananda, and this is where I
Yeah.
learned it, actually, doing this
Yeah.
repetitive.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, Tessa, that feeling I experienced at Shivananda. It's like I was literally high. Maybe.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because for me, going to Shivananda was like coming home, because a lot of the things that I felt and learned and did when I went there, they already did. And I was like, oh, there's other people like me. Oh, great. You
Yeah.
know, you know, we're all clapping and singing. I'm like, yeah, gosh, I'm at home here.
Yeah, it was like a big party, big spiritual, meditation party. It was, and everybody's dressed, and it's just so beautiful. Your whole body is like vibrating when you sing that. You feel so happy.
Yeah, so like the last, I haven't been to the ashram for a while because of COVID and everything, but my last memory of something that really was, that vibrated with me like that was, and I'm very lucky, as I said, I went to India, and I went to Rishikesh, and I didn't it just shows, I really believe that things come into your life when you're ready. And you have to be open, but they come into your life. And I didn't really know that Rishikesh was the birthplace of yoga for like Shivananda. I didn't know. Hey, I ended up there. Okay, and there we were on the Ganges, singing, with a whole bunch of people, and they were from different parts of the world, and just sitting there vibrating, singing and chanting, and it's just something I'll never forget. And it's just that wonderful union. Wow, wonderful.
Do
Yeah.
you feel like you can experience that vibration more so when you're with around people as opposed to just by yourself? when you
Um, it's different. It's like it's the same when I teach meditation. I said, start when you do meditation alone as opposed to doing meditation in a group. The energy is very different.
Mhm.
Very, very different. Um,
What do you use to meditate now? What type of methods, techniques do you use to meditate today?
today I use mantras. So I use mantras. I do
Silent,
breath.
just inside of yourself silently or out loud?
Actually, I like to say them out loud to start, and then silently.
Mhm.
I do like that. And I also do breath. I like to do breath work, especially in the morning. I like to
Mhm.
do breath work. It's really helpful for me. Do some movement, do some breath work, do some meditation, do a bit of everything. It really sets me up for the day. And if I don't have that, I know I can tell later in the day I missed it.
What tells you that you missed it? Do you feel like more stressed, or you sorry for the sound?
I just don't, it sets you up for the right path. It's like people, you have a morning routine. We talk about this a lot. People talk about successful people have morning routines. What is that routine? So actually I actually carved this year like a project for myself to improve my morning routine. What did I want that to look like? What did I think was important? What did I think that was of value? What did I think that would help me grow? So I've actually been really working on that this year. I've dropped a couple of things. And
how long does it last with the morning routine? Sorry to interrupt you. How long does your morning routine last with those things?
It's 2 hours.
2 hours. Okay. And this is
but that is from the time I wake up to the time I go to work.
Okay. And what time do you wake up?
I wake up at 7, just before 7, like 10 to 7, and I get to work for like 10 to 9 o'clock, right?
It's 2 hours for you, right? It's just for the routines involve you only.
Yeah, which I'm very lucky.
Did you have that years ago when you first married, or is it like a recent thing? How recent is that?
No, I think I've always done something. I look back on when I last felt sort of like in my 20s, I did have a routine, but of course I wasn't doing yoga and meditation at that time. I was doing sport and fitness. So I used to get up and I used to go to a gym, and that was my sort of Zen place at that time. Like it was fitness. But that it was time for myself, and getting dressed nicely for work, and connecting with the world around, and always walking. Like I go for a walk as well in the mornings and stuff, even when it's -30 here in Canada.
Oh my God. But you know what, Tessa, it's probably easier for you to do those 2 hours now because your kids are grown up, right? Because for me, it would be almost impossible to have 2 hours for me.
No, absolutely. And that's why I say I'm lucky.
Yeah.
But I think that, when you're a young mom, you have to adapt and have it at different times. So when my children were younger, I was very keen on kids having an afternoon nap, and that was mummy's time. Either I have a nap, but it's time for myself, read a book, have a snooze, have some quiet time, don't plan.
Right. And this is so dangerous because I only have 6 hours, 5 days a week for work. After that, I have to be with my kids. I play with my kids, and I do things that for the home. And it may be useful, hearing you, even in those 6 hours, just choose that 1 hour for me. It doesn't have to go work. I get
and absolutely, and go for a walk on the beach, or go and do something for yourself. Celebrate yourself. Like
lay by the pool. Oh my gosh, just to imagine, I have a pool right here in my complex. Just for me to think about it, imagine the idea, an hour by the pool doing nothing. Oh my God.
Why not? I would be there every day. Because I love, actually, I'm in the wrong place. I should be where you are, because I'm a sunshine baby. I love the pool and sunshine and the beach. I think that I learned that lesson later on in life. It's why I'm saying something to you now. Don't, because time, you never know how much time you have
on this planet world. You mean
on this planet? No.
Yeah, that's
so you really, and ask me about being joyful and things like that. You've got to celebrate life every day. I realized, maybe this is a little personal, but like I'm in my 50s and my partner came home, and he was lying on the bed and he's just like, oh, I'm dead. I wrestled him. I'm in my 50s. It's like, come on, let's go. Hey, it's important to really enjoy life. And I've had lots of challenges and struggles and strifes in my life, just like everyone does. I think everyone needs to understand that we all have our own journeys. But
takeaways. So sorry, did you want to say something? I interrupted you.
It's fine.
I wanted to say that we have a few 10 minutes left. there's one question I want to ask you. It's sort of different, but first of all, the takeaways for our audience is that it's okay to be in your feminine, celebrate your femininity. Don't be afraid of it. Be it. Just be it. Explore it. Get to know it. We don't need to try to be masculine or race with the masculine. Let's get to know our feminine. Just surrender is fine. It's safe to surrender. Surrender means presence, undeniable, right here, right now. Getting to know yourself, checking with yourself. Just like Tessa said, when she's talking to people, she's saying, how do you feel? So that she brings people right here, right now, and just being able to see someone, right? To see the truth of the moment. It's right here, right now. We surrender. Feminine is powerful. And the other thing is, for us women, we must take breaks. And this is something that I must also learn and incorporate in my life, as a mom who's just sort of say like a new mom, still new mom, 3 years of being a mom. I want to do work, I want to do all those things, and I want to be a mom, but it's okay to have an hour. It's okay. It's okay, just an hour of nothingness. And you know what? I'm going to do that next week. I'm going to lay by the pool by myself for an hour without the phone, because I'm not going to waste my time on the phone. Maybe with a pen and paper, if I have to, if something comes to mind.
No, but that's lovely, because it's nice. Pen and paper, put down ideas, things that come. That's how you can be creative.
There we go. So I'll take pen and paper. If something comes, I'll write it down. But I just like lay in the sun, put some SPF, maybe swim by myself. So everybody who's listening, do that if you don't have that time for yourself. It was.
And the other thing that you should summarize is that you said about women, you've got friends, about getting married, is that if you really, really, really want a partner in your life, you have to understand there's compromise, and that you can't have everything because you're not just you.
Exactly. You can't have everything. You're not just you, and compromise. It's okay. But at the same time, when you compromise, you should never over compromise to lose yourself.
No, absolutely not. No,
Yeah.
I know. You still, if it doesn't speak to you, if it doesn't fit with you, no, you should never give that up. Absolutely not. But that's like you have to learn about how to do that with your partner, right? You have to learn about that, and it's a learning experience and always growing. It's not stagnant. No, because as you grow, as your children grow, or if your partner moves or you have a different job, things change. So you have to adapt together, and you both have to work at it, and you both have to want it.
Yeah, and things never stay the same. Things do change. And sometimes women are so afraid to go into a relationship thinking that this is it, I'm losing my freedom. But things change. Like for me, I can definitely attest to the fact that I was afraid, of completely losing my freedom and doing what I love. But here I am, I'm doing what I love. My husband and I have found ways to talk and negotiate.
Exactly. There you go. And I actually want to commend you on how much more feminine you are.
Oh, thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's important we celebrate. That's who we are.
So let's continue to celebrate. I want to thank you, Tessa, showing up today, and really,
very
really
welcome.
I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.